this time, I'll call the July 13th meeting of the West Memphis Utility Commission to order. First item on the agenda is approve the minutes for the June 8th meeting. Have a motion by Mr. Scarborough.
Second.
Second, Mr. Burt. Well, I was looking at him.
Anyway, I just have a correction. As long as it is done.
Any additions and deletions?
Correction.
Okay.
Second to last paragraph is a motion to adjourn, just above that. Third line. He who recommended moving far and sending the position specification to the mayor. Forward. It just stuck out to me for some reason, I don't know why. Thank you, Dan.
That's what I mean.
I've never made a mistake like that. I don't know.
Okay.
Every day.
Do I have a motion to approve them as amended?
Yes.
Okay. Same people. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes are approved. Second item on the agenda is the June safety report.
Good morning, all.
Morning.
Morning.
Okay, we are 134 days out of lost time injury. It's been 8 since we had our last reportable. So that brings us up to 2 year-to-date. June, we didn't have an injury 8 days ago. We just had one in July, which is going to change our incident rate. June was at 2.8. We had that one injury in, and only an additional 4,000 hours worked, and we were back up to a 5.3. The injury was recordable due to a needle stick injection. And then our June training, safety training for the month, we're going to continue to beat on the heat stress and trying to prevent. We had some extreme heat indexes there at the end of June, first part of July. We've had a little cool snap, and it looks like it's fixing to come back on us again. So we're going to keep hammering that out. And it's just got some of the same things we've talked about previously of a good rule of thumb, things to do to prevent getting into trouble with your hydration and bringing on into those heat stress kind of related issues. Other than that, I don't have anything. Anybody got any questions?
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the wastewater treatment plant bid opening update.
So this is part of our response to the consent order we signed several years ago with ADQ that we had overflows when we had heavy rains because of I&I issues, and we've taken, since then, we've been trying to redesign the wastewater treatment plant. But while we did that, we did other things like repair of manholes that were leaking. We did over 500 of those. We did point repairs where we TV lines, saw where they'd separated, dug them up and fixed them. And we were doing all this while our the plant was being redesigned, and then it went to ADQ in the health department for review and approval. And normally that process takes about 6 months. It took 15 months. This time, ADQ kind of has the same problem we have. We had a lot of staff turnover, and we're coming out of COVID. So it took a while. But in preparation for the bid, we did a $30 million bond 2 years ago, thinking this project would come in about $25 million, and we had used the other $5 million for some of the other work, the manholes and digging up the lines. So anyway, we finally got the project bid. We opened up bids, and the low bid was $43 million. and the high bid was 62. So quite a range there. So we've come up short. It's not a surprise. We were kind of expecting there was going to be this cost creep because the cost of everything's gone up. We're doing value engineering with the contractor. They're making some suggestions on ways that they can see to save money, and then engineers are evaluating those suggestions. But best case, we're looking at about $40 million. Last year, we did receive a $5 million grant because we sensed this was the way it was heading. We applied for a grant, got a $5 million grant from the Arkansas Natural Resource Commission towards this project. And to date, we have $23 million of the bond money that has not been expended. That with the $5 million gives us $28 million that we have in our back pocket towards this project. Leaves us about $12 million short. The project's going to take a couple of years, so we can pay some of that out of our annual budget. But we need to make up about $10 million at least. So I've contacted Stevens and gotten a proposal for them to rebond. And I got with the Arkansas Natural Resource Commission. They have a revolving loan program that much more favorable terms than going to the market for a bond. But they have a lot of requirements, paperwork requirements, that will add cost to the project. So we're going through that now, trying to figure out what the best option is for us. And we'll be coming back next meeting with a recommendation and a proposal. So we have that to look forward to. Any questions? Everybody's in stunned silence. I have a couple of other things that I put on agenda if we have to bring up. Okay. All right. So one thing I meant to add to the agenda, and I've been meaning to do this, and you'll help me remember next time, is since we've 100% fund the Economic Development Agency, I'm the acting director, I wanted to start giving you an update on the projects that we're working on. And right now we've got 4 active projects that we've been shortlisted on, and they range in value from a $50 million fertilizer type project up to $1.8 billion. A very secretive project that we're not 100% sure what it is. But we've gone through two rounds, been shortlisted on all 4 of these. We had a virtual site visit yesterday. On one, we have a boots on the ground site visit next Tuesday. Then the following week, we have another site visit for the big project. And that's a project that Memphis has lost. And we are, like I said, we've made 2 cuts since Memphis lost it. And then yesterday morning, we got notified that we've been shortlisted on the 4th project. One of the projects is located out at the mega site out in Lehigh. And that's the one where that's a Entergy certified project. And due to the size, the requirement of the power, we've given them market access to that. We really could not supply the power to them for that project. So that falls in there, but we will be responsible for water and wastewater. And this is, the mayor has set aside $2 million of his ARPA money to help with the water extensions, and we're looking at ways to fund the sewer extensions. The sewer is almost designed, the sewer project is, and we've gotten the easements for the water. Water will be straightforward. So we have that to look forward to. They're going to make us wait though. The earliest decision we're going to hear on any of these is probably September, and it's going to stretch all the way to December. But we have those in the works. So I'll update. I'll have a section from now on updates. And Wanted to update real quick on fiber. We've been trying to get fiber, a national carrier into the building. We've been working with a company that has an access point off of I-55 as you come out of Marion and you make that turn to go onto I-40. There's a big building sitting off on your right as you go through there. That's our access point. And then we had been working with AT&T because they are in the building. I've not been able to get a contract with them. And we moved on to Windstream. That has access point about 1.5 miles from here, and they've included extending the light to us as part of their project, included in their rate. And as Dana heard a few minutes ago, I was on the phone with the highway department. We've got to get a bore permit, get on the 7th Street, and once we get that, they're going to have the building lit up, and we can move forward, sign up some customers. We have what we call a head-end building that has all the equipment on order. It'll be delivered in September. And we really can't do any fiber, pole fiber, or underground fiber until we get that. But we have a product we call air fiber, and we have a couple commercial businesses that we're looking at hooking up air fiber as soon as we get the fiber into the building. So we're moving forward slowly but steadily with that. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Where are you going to start? Is there a certain part of town that you'll begin
Yes.
installing, and what's the plan on that?
Well, the original plan was to extend fiber to all the utility assets, and that's still the plan. But later on top of that is we got a HUD grant, a CDBG grant, to extend fiber to the housing authority. And so we're doing those two projects simultaneously. We got different pots of money for it. And we're looking for the housing authority project kind of as a demonstration project so that we can apply for some digital equity grants. And we can point to that saying, look, here we have 340 units in the housing authority online. We've got them signed up with the FCC program. And this is how we're going to move the project forward for about half the city. So we probably won't get anybody's house lit though until January.
So is it just kind of a splatter, or is there a certain area you're going to?
Yeah, so we have what we call the
I guess is
backbone
where I'm asking.
that runs to all the utility facilities. So the money we have is strictly to hook up the utility facilities, and then the other money is separately to hook up to the housing authority. So as we get what we call the backbone fiber to the utility facilities, we'll be applying for other grants to reach out into the neighborhoods.
So it may be.
It'll be next year.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, Jerry, next item is committee report.
Yes, sir. First committee met on Monday the 10th. Sorry, my days are lost. We've got a lot of good news, a lot of positive energy, I think, came out of that. We got 3 pages of folks that they reached out to. Some were, for whatever reason, were not qualified, maybe a page and a half. Still waiting to hear from about a page full on whether or not they're interested. We already have 2 candidates on the short list, and then 4 additional that have made, I guess, the first cut. And our short list would be the second cut, so our third. First cut is to get rid of the ones that weren't qualified, and then the ones that were not interested, and then the ones that were interested, or we haven't heard back from yet, I suppose. So, made a lot of progress. I'm actually looking forward to seeing how this comes out. Don't know that we want to discuss the names and positions of where everybody is now, but they're from, some from local and some from all over the country. So, yeah, literally all over the country. It's good.
Well, and then there's the search for engineers.
Yeah, that's right. Forgot about that. Also, we did, as we mentioned in previous meetings, I guess the thought is instead of hiring an engineer to go with a construction manager because they have more practical experience and more hands-on. Whereas the engineer is something that could be contracted out, I suppose, a little easier, but we thought it would be better, like the utility thought, didn't have anything to do with the committee, and we agreed that it would be more prudent to try to find a construction manager as opposed to an engineer for that purpose. And we've got some digital marketing that's going on, I guess, around the Fayetteville and the Little Rock area, or Central Arkansas. It goes a lot more than Little Rock. There's a website, or actually a added, trying to find it here we go. We got streaming commercials for various products. Anybody that is interested, or anybody that fits a certain criteria, they get this ad pop up on their computer, their smartphone, or on their TV, depending on where they're located and what they're watching. And the idea is to try and attract someone that has the experience in addition to the professional education to be able to come in and go straight out and go to work without the on-the-job training that so many of the engineers have required, because we typically get engineers out of school and they have no experience, whereas the construction manager would have practical experience and probably be a lot more able to hit the ground running, so to speak. Have I hit everything there? Is there anything we can add?
Sounds pretty good to me.
Targeted email blast as well, yeah. And I guess, let's see, the copy of one of the ads that we had. With the zip codes. Not going to the right place. So this hasn't gone live yet. When is it supposed to go?
Yeah, it actually did. It went live right after our meeting.
Okay.
And they said there's been 160 clicks on it. And it's to drive applicants to Janice's website, where they have a downloadable application form that can be submitted digitally. And then I've been working with a recruiter for the economic development director's position, and he's going to help us vet the construction manager applications, because we're expected to be overwhelmed by them through this process. And then also included in the process is recruiting for a city engineer, and those would go straight to Janice. And then any way I can help her go through those, I'll work with her on that. So this would go for 2 months. And we're targeting the Arkansas Department of Environmental Quality, because all the people in that building supposedly are licensed, and we need licensed people. That's been the stumbling block, is getting licensed people. And then we're also targeting the area around the Central Arkansas Water Company. They provide water to 8 counties in Central Arkansas. And so those people would, if they're looking for a step up, would have licenses. There's a contractor in Morrilton that we're targeting, and we got a couple others out there. We're targeting the Little Rock Public Works for a city engineer in the North Little Rock Engineering Department for a possible city engineer. And then just general recruitment in that area around Little Rock and around University of Arkansas and Fayetteville. So hopefully next time we'll be able to show everybody a big stack. Right, Janice?
Well, the one thing that I guess you touched on too that I didn't mention is there's a lot of overlap with several different positions, which I think kind of gives us a lot of bang for our buck. So it's not like the utilities advertising and the city's advertising and it's going in separate directions. It's kind of a group.
Yeah, the good point, because it drives it, because Janice's web page, that lists the other positions we have open. So, you know, hopefully we'll get increased interest in all of them.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. Excuse me. Anybody have anything else come before us?
I've got one.
One more thing, okay?
So, you know, several meetings ago, I talked about some committees, and the search committee has met and the project committee's met. Finally got with Ladd and coordinated Ladd Garrett, who's our architect, and he's back in town and can be available next week, any morning next week. We wanted to do a walkthrough of the building and come up with a short list of things that needed to be done. And would like to put together a facilities or building committee. So if any of you, I'll send out an email later, but if you want to be a part of that, walk through the building, and the building's very old and served us well, but it needs a little bit of attention. Somebody who will remain anonymous found a snake behind her desk the other day, but it was dead. But we have found a big old snake out in the lobby. And so there's some holes here that we want to get plugged, and we've gotten with Acme to make a tour of the building to see how these critters are getting in. So anyway, we'll be talking about all that next week. So I'll send out, and if you want to and want to join us, please do. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Felton, do we have a second? Second by Ms. Monroe. All in favor? We stand adjourned. Thank you.